spine of earth and chest. But listen close, beneath the thunder was a heartbeat in his chest. Not every joke is born of triumph. Not every grin means ease. Some men smile while breaking maps to buy the world more seas. The 20 banners stitched the sky, the treaty sharp as knives. They did not want his body only, they wanted future lives. Not just a king dethroned in sand, but rhythm outlawed whole. A world where drums forget their hands and chains rename the soul. He knew that power wasn't scarce, he knew he still could stand. But time was bleeding from the shore like water through his hands. So he laughed, and the oceans answered, he laughed, and the fault line stirred a crimson seam across the planet. A final foolish word, not to conquer, not to reign, but to fracture fate and stall the chain. The wall was not dominion's crown, it was mercy written down. If I cannot win the day, if I cannot win the day, I will give tomorrow space. Fishman Island deep below, a promise etched in tide. I will return, I will lift you, he felt the coming slide. An apology upon the stone is not surrender's mark. It is a man who sees the storm and leaves you fire in dark. What do you do when hope won't last, when armies learn your name? You do not leave them optimism, you alter land and flame. He tore the planet's surface wide, raised scarlet from the foam. A coastline bent against conquest, a barricade of bone. Empires love a straightened road, clean horizons, marching rows, but fracture makes them hesitate. Division slows the blow. So he laughed, and the mountains answered, he laughed, and the currents turned, four seas split like scattered pages. A map half cut, half burned, not forever, not a cage, just distance bought for another age. The wall was not a throne of gods, it was time against the odds. I cannot keep my vow to this tongue. I cannot stay and stand, I will leave you harder led. They climbed the scar and named it heaven, built white thrones upon his seam, called themselves divine by theft, crowned their cruelty supreme. But heaven built on mercy's bone is fragile in its pride. Borrowed holiness will shake when truth begins to rise. Reverse the mountain, stitch the seam, leave one impossible stream. Not closed, just narrow, not locked, just steep. A riddle only fools would keep. As if the laughter ever dies, so does the hope of all. So he split the earth with shaking breath, played the fool in flame, and left a world to complicate it, to ever stay the same. They think the wall is holy, they think it proves they're right, but scars remember why they formed and wait for proper light. When drums return to trembling seas and fault lines start to hum, the wall he laughed into being